Every week, people are making lists about the best countries to move to. And somehow, they're always the same list. And we understand why. But it's the same list. But if we're gonna be completely honest with you guys, the world has changed. And these tired lists have not changed.
Some of our old favorites are becoming more expensive, more crowded, and less welcoming to long-term travelers. At the same time, new groups of cities are becoming easier to live in, more connected, and making new visa programs to attract more international residents.
This is the new age of living abroad.
And no city shows that shift better than number 5 on our list, which is Montevideo, Uruguay.
Look, guys, this city is one of the most slept-on cities in South America. But, a couple of obvious reasons. It sits in the shadow of 2 humongous giants, Argentina and Brazil. And I'm telling you something, this place, for me, looks gorgeous. We're talking about miles and miles and miles of Malecón. We're talking about a straight line, easy access digital nomad visa, and just predictable living.
Right, so this isn't your hustling, bustling city. This is if you really like to lay low, you want to mind your business, this is the city that you go to. There's not a lot of fanfare. It's perfect for someone who wants that.
Montevideo is like some Dockers, some brown Dockers, and some penny loafers. It's not like boring, but it's basic, all right? We're talking about a cost of living here, $2,245 for a single person, and $4,457 for a family of 4.
If you want to come visit Uruguay and Montevideo, just know that the country offers U.S. citizens 90 days visa free. And if you are that digital slow mad retiree, you want to just kind of chill out here in Montevideo, you can apply for the digital nomad permit, which you can apply for within the country.
Within the country. That's crazy.
They don't even require a specific minimum number of income you need to make a month.
Yeah, you have to sign an affidavit saying that, I make enough to be here. So laid back, and it shows in everything, but it's also stable. One thing this place is known for is its stable government, lack of corruption, but it's also known for their painstakingly slow administrative processes. So as long as you are prepared to chill, you'll do fine here.
So this video is not about different countries.
Nah.
This video is specifically identifying cities that we believe are next up. So that's what we're running through today.
We've been traveling the world for too long to sit up here and lie to you guys. Different countries have different cities that are catering to expats right now. And a lot of those old countries that used to cater to expats are not catering to expats anymore. There are some new cities that are emerging, and we're here to tell you about the cities that we believe are beginning to percolate. So number 4 on our list of these magnificent cities that we think you might do well to check out is a city that we really love, Quito.
Quito, Ecuador, you guys. The people who have sensitivity with altitude,
you might have a problem. Yeah, for real.
But for those who love scenery, it's surrounded by gorgeous, gorgeous landscape and mountains.
Look, the mountain ranges surrounding Quito are absolutely gorgeous. Snow-capped mountains, mountains you can hike up, go around a volcano. We're talking about a height of about 2,800 meters, about 9,300 feet high. So if you have a problem with altitude sickness, you will get sick if you go here.
Quito has a typical Spanish colonial center, right?
If you know, you know, like that colonial square in the center of every town. They got the old school stuff. But I would say this, Quito's old town, so to speak, is well maintained and gorgeous.
So beautiful colonial atmosphere, but it's also a city that has great infrastructure. You're going to find really good grocery stores, hospitals, really trendy neighborhoods. But I got to tell you that Quito is one of those places that where you stay will massively make a difference in what your experience is
for
like.
Sure. Do your research. Quito is a city where if you do your research, you will be well rewarded. We really loved the second neighborhood that we moved to.
González Suárez in La Floresta. We really enjoyed walking around and staying in and spending time.
I was surprised at how modern everything was in Quito. Quito feels like a sophisticated, forward city, and it is. Cost of living in Ecuador, in Quito specifically, is about $1,056 per person and about $2,492 for a family.
And U.S. citizens are granted 90 days visa free in Ecuador, and you can extend that for another 90 days within the country.
Now, if you want to get swanky with it, You can go ahead and apply for their digital nomad visa also. You need to make about $1,400 a month. You can apply for that in the country. But here's a cheat code for you if you have a college degree. Give it to them, girl.
They have a professional visa where all you really need is an accepted degree and be earning at least $482 a month.
So there's that. Ecuador is really easy to get along in. The people are very, very friendly. But all in all, I think Quito is a gem, and it is one of the cities of the future. Hey, what's up, family? If you guys are running a business or need some creative help, I have an AI tool that we have been using that helps us a ton. Check this out.
After a consultation, we want our clients to feel like they've had a tailored, catered, quality experience. That's when we look to the sponsor of today's video, Gamma.
Gamma is able to turn our clients' consults into a visually stimulating journey that the clients can use and enjoy.
It used to take me hours to gather and format all of that information. Now, Gamma is a next generation AI presentation tool that takes all of my notes and creates a beautifully personalized presentation in minutes.
We use any of Gamma's numerous editing tools to make any changes that we need, and that's it. We have a professional, polished, engaging product.
Honestly, we didn't expect all of this from Gamma.
Not only have we used it for our consultation guides, we've used it for pitch decks, landing pages, and all types of other creative content for all of our social media outlets. Turn your ideas into something unforgettable with Gamma. Is the third country on our list, and this is Bogota. Man.
Wow, that all of these are in South America?
All South America, but gorgeous. Another really, really beautiful city. And this city has a different vibe. This city is a sophisticated, artistic, eclectic, beautiful, pumping vibe.
That's right. This is the full city experience that you get here. You get the food, you get the culture, you get the artistry, the creativity, you also get the professionalism. This is a city where you can even go horseback riding in the countryside.
One day we climbed some high mountain, Montserrat, and the next day we went horseback riding, and the next day we were eating at this chic restaurant. This is a city that does not lack depth. Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes. So we've made it to, I think, the top of Montserrat. It is gorgeous up here.
Views are amazing, yo. The views are amazing. We're at about 7,000 feet above sea level. I'm guesstimating, you know, don't check the math on that. But the views, man, we're over the city of Bogota.
You don't even really realize how vast of a city this is until you get up here.
So this is Nomadic.wander just checking in, letting you guys know you need to check out Bogota. This is an amazing city. Lots of things to do and pretty things to look at. So that's what's up.
All right.
It is a diverse city, and not by its people, but by the things that it offers. There is plenty to do and plenty to see in Bogota, from art venues to theaters to what you call it.
Yeah, they have a bustling, younger crowd there because it's a university city as well. They just have a lot going on.
So it's on our list because of the spirit. The spirit in Bogota is percolating, it's forward moving, it's onward and upward. It is a progressive city that's always trying to do and see the next thing. Lots of professionals there. We think it's really good for an urban family, somebody who wants to raise their children in the arts and have them close to the countryside.
Remote workers, entrepreneurs as well.
Easy peasy. So what are the numbers?
U.S. citizens can travel there for 90 days visa free.
Yep.
You can extend for another 90 days to a maximum of 180 days within a calendar year.
From within the country. And if you wanted to go for the nomad digitales, you would have to make about $1,600 a month because the Colombian peso is kicking the USD's ass right now. You need to upload 3 months of bank statements, upload your health insurance that you have for the duration of the time that you want to be there. Oh, your passport. Upload these different things, you get approved, and you get to pick up your identification card.
Cost of living in Colombia for a single person is just about $2,000.
1977.
And for a family of four, $3,700.
Colombia is a gorgeous country, a wonderful place to go experience. And Bogota is one of these cities that is really in the runnings for one of the best up-and-coming cities to move to for everybody. Nomads, solo travelers, and families.
That's right.
All right, you guys, we've made it all the way to our number 2 slot. Now, this is probably unexpected.
Okay, unexpected, but not undiscovered.
It's in the mountains. It's in Peru. It's a place called
Arequipa.
This place has been on the map for a long time.
And if you've been looking at retirement destinations, maybe this one has come across your radar, but it's definitely one that seems to be continuing to grow an international crowd.
So initially, years ago when we found out about this place, it was like only meant for like retirees. But it's been growing. People have been moving there, buying property, establishing businesses, and this place is beginning to really make some noise.
I think that the more people discover it, the more that they realize that it might be a really good place for them. It has really great weather. The air quality is really good as well. And it is surrounded by this gorgeous volcanoes and mountains.
They call it the eternal spring. Generally between 50 and 70 degrees year-round. It does have a high elevation, as all of our places do, at about 7,700 feet off from sea level.
Say on the face of it, though, this city is considered the white city, and that's because a lot of the buildings that were built, that Spanish colonial architecture, it has a white facade because it's been built with stones that were made from like volcanic ash.
So this is a very traditional city, but when you hit the main plaza theyarbros, it looks like it's Spanish colonial. It looks like your typical Spanish square with restaurants lining it and a big square and a park area where there are festivals and everything that goes on. But the people run this town. The indigenous people run this town, right?
But it seems, though, also that the people who come there do respect the indigenous roots, do respect the deep culture and ties to the history that made Arequipa what it is.
All right, so that's the city. Really, really nice houses.
And this surprised us. I've not expected to be super, super affordable as it is. For example, cost of living here for a single person is coming in at, what, $820?
$820.
A family of four can survive off of $2,030, right? And like you said, there are a few neighborhoods that some people like to check out.
Umacoyo.
Vallecito, Yanajuara.
It's very familiar. Like if you've traveled through other Spanish colonized places, you'll see a lot of things that bring back memories. Population of this city is about
like 1.1 million.
So it's not a big city, but it's not a small city either.
Right.
It's interesting. It's a sweet spot for those who are looking for that sweet place to retire, sweet place to chill. With great weather. It is slow motion. You are not going to be jumping off the front porch to go to a party every night here. It is slow motion. It's predictable. It's stable.
And if that's your vibe, go check it out.
Peru gives you 180 days total in the country if you do not have a long-term visa there. But
they've been really stingy about that. It is up to the discretion of the officers and the immigration officers, and they have consistently been giving 90 days. So do not bank on anything more than that.
And border runs are generally allowed, but they can refuse you if they want to. So if you go to get the rest of your 180 days, they can refuse you. So, take it with a grain of salt. But getting the rentista visa is not that difficult. All you need to do is have $1,000 annuity coming to you. So your Social Security check or some type of check that you were getting routinely coming to you being about $1,000. So that can be rentals, that can be investments, whatever. Number one on our list is a city that we enjoyed thoroughly.
We are in the only capital city in the state of Brazil that is on an island. Welcome to Florianopolis.
I mean, this is a city that is forward and up and coming, and many Americans don't know anything about it. Florianopolis.
Floripa also goes by another name.
We call it Magic Island for a particular reason. It's two things at one time. It's both a city and an island, which is wild. And it's all of that because of this bridge that connects the two.
Hercílio Bridge. And it just so happens to be the largest suspension bridge in Brazil.
And it connects it to a city, and this island is a part of that. And it's all counted as one. It's all Florianopolis. So I think that's... Please. Mega interesante.
Is the capital city in the Santa Catarina state. We mentioned how there's so much on this one island. There's so many different areas you can stay in here. Like you said, if you want a beach life, you can have it. If you want to live in a more forested area, if you want to live on the city side, if you want to live by a lagoon, there's separated neighborhoods all throughout the island.
And it's peninsula-esque. It's very long, and like in different places along this peninsula are different lifestyles. You got kind of like your beach bum, you got kind of like your sophisticated people, you got like the locals, and they were all pretty interesting. The food was good, the people were friendly, and there was plenty to do. What I liked most is that it was just a hop, skip, and jump over a bridge into the city. We were able to go shopping for clothes, plenty of shopping, enjoy the movie theaters, and it wasn't that far of a drive. So it's like an island lifestyle with perks of the city. This is a place that many people do seasonally, but I could see living there year round as a benefit, because I'm gonna tell you, we went there during the down season and loved it. I loved it. So I'm really glad that we're here in the off season, because I figure like in about 3 or 4 months it's really turned up. But I get it. I really get it. This would be an awesome place for digital nomads. I think this would be a wonderful place for anyone who really loves to be on the beach. It's gorgeous. Apartments are relatively affordable. It's relatively affordable for a lot of people. But the beauty is unmatched, period. That's my first impression.
I'm loving the vibe here. It's just so relaxing.
We'll be back.
Now, Brazil has a new visa requirement for Americans. You have to apply for the visa ahead of time, but you do get 90 days each entry with that, and that whole visa is valid for about 10 years.
Yeah, but you can only stay up to 180 days in one calendar year. So if you want to stay over that, you have to apply for their digital nomad visa, which you can do in country. And I believe you have to have $18,000 in your savings or make $1,500 a month.
That one is good for 1 year, and it is renewable for another year.
You don't have to stay in Florianopolis or Floripa if you do that, but Floripa and all areas along that whole coastal area, just nice living, good living, in my humble opinion. So who do you think this place is good for?
That person who really wants a slower pace kind of lifestyle that is by the beach without being too far from a city atmosphere too.
Or if you just like to be laid back, beautiful sunsets and peaceful living, this is the spot, man. This is low-key a good spot. And again, when you travel out of Florianopolis and go up that coast, there are so many other cities to explore.
Yeah, Brazil's a beautiful country for exploring various cities. And that wraps up our list of the next up 5 cities that Americans might be interested in when moving abroad. If you know of any other cities that you think are next up outside of the typical cities, let us know down below.
Let's keep it going. Let's move onward and upward. Peace and love from the Yarbros.